Hey, look here. After our last couple phone calls, it dawned on me that I have not been very communicative about what's going on with your bike and all. So I think I'm going to start, every once in a while, throw you a video. Anyways, this is to explain two things. Why I know this bottom end has to be taken apart and gone through, and why I have not gone to Jesse to get the impact and take off the clutch and stuff. Two reasons. Okay, as far as why this bottom end has to come apart, I think you know, but just so you can see, I'm gonna do this here. You see all the damage, even like see the cracking and the chipping, and it is below. Let me put it here where you can see the light there, and it's below the rings. That damage is on the skirt and their other ones. Look here, look at this big chunk gouged out of this below the rings. Well, if they're below the rings, I know that stuff went down in here, and it went just followed this right on down into the lower end where your flywheel and all spins and turns. Yeah, it's kind of see your pistons are moving there, and anyway, so it just fell off the piston down into there. Now to emphasize, what I do with it? To emphasize what happens with those chunks, and I've got it around here somewhere. I've laid it down. I'm not going to look. Oh, there it is, right there. This is a piece of that piston. One of those chunks or pieces that come out. Also, this thing is imploded on the top. So those chunks came out this way, and also, went into the bottom end. But anyway, I found this great big chunk here. Over here in the side, this is where your cams go. And as the motor turns and so forth, the cams are turning in here, and they're opening the push rods, or pushing the push rods, which are opening the valves and all. But I found this big old, and that's your oil pump. So we're talking about your cams, your oil pump gears. This is all gear. There's a spline gear that goes on here that turns this gear. I mean, and I've already found one big chunk, below the top end. It's gone. Probably came through this hole or that hole. Those are just, you can see, you can't right now because of the light, but you can look through there and see the flywheel spinning. So I mean, it's oil flows. That's what the oil pump does. It makes it flow everywhere, and that's part of the return system. So as you can see, I already got one good chunk out, and where there's one and there's been this much damage, there's more down in there somewhere. The second reason it has to be taken apart is getting these suckers off required meanness. And that meanness has probably, if these bushings down here that the flywheel works on, if those bushings down there in that moving part, if they're not already crapped out from some metal getting into them, they're crapped out from me beating the wrist pins out, which had to be done. There is a wrist pin remover, a proper way to do it and all, but proper went out the window here. So anyways, that's why it's got to be tore apart. Now, the other the reason I didn't go see Jess is to take your clutch off requires a special tool. And I made one for mine, and they're both Sportsters, but they changed everything about the engine, the way it splits in half, and a whole bunch of stuff, how the transmission goes in. All that is different on my bike, and it turns out my clutch is just a slightly different size, and so my clutch spring suppressor did not work on your bike. Behind that is the transmission, And behind here is a magnet and a whole bunch of wiring. It's your charging system hooked up to this wire. And I don't want to go improvising. So no, for no longer than it would take him at his shop to use the right tool, pop the clutch off, blap blap, hit the impact on the two nuts, and be in there, pull that transmission out. And the other thing is, with the age of this bike and the wear and tear on it, it wouldn't be bad for him to have a good look at the transmission. I've got a transmission jig and all that. I could probably do it. Here again, I'm not sure if I bought that jig for my first sports store or my second one, so it might not work on your bike. But for time and make sure nothing gets missed and nothing gets damaged that's not already damaged, I thought we'd just let him fly with that. So, that's pretty much how I'm taking it to him. Only thing I'm doing this morning with it is I was going to clean it up some. I hate to take it to him all greasy. I'm going to knock some of the grease off of it anyways. And then I'm going to switch your bike frame and put it in a corner and bring my bike into the workspace. By the way, I've been avoiding the shop a lot, avoiding my bike, which makes me avoid the shop. And you've drugged me back into it, and I'm kind of digging my time in the shop again. So thanks for that. Anyways, peace out.